You will never marry that poor firefighter. The mother screamed, her voice sharp as broken glass. He is the only one who will ever truly protect you, the daughter whispered back, tears streaming down her face. A truth neither of them understood yet. This happened in a small fishing village in Morocco in 2021. A mother, fearing poverty and social shame, forbade her daughter from marrying a firefighter she loved, insisting she marry a wealthy merchant instead. Sometimes, a mother fearing poverty and social shame forbade her daughter from marrying a firefighter she loved. The daughter loved the firefighter deeply. Before continuing, if you believe a mother's love can sometimes be misguided, hit that like button and subscribe right now. The mother sat by the window, her calloused hands moving quickly over a fishing net. She pulled a frayed section tight, her brow furrowed. Outside, the sea was calm, but the air felt heavy. Another woman walked by, shaking her head. The neighbor woman stopped near the window. The sea gives nothing this season, she said. The mother didn't look up. The sea owes us nothing, she replied. She reached for a small ceramic tile on the sill. It had a blue eye painted on it, but it was chipped in several places. She began rubbing it with her thumb, polishing the smooth surface. The neighbor woman leaned closer. Still polishing that old thing? She asked. It keeps watch, the mother said, her voice flat. A sudden gust of wind swept through the open window. It caught the tile, knocking it from the mother's grasp. It clattered onto the stone floor, a new crack appearing across the painted eye. The mother flinched, but did not react further. She simply bent down and picked up the broken piece. At dawn, the daughter met the firefighter by the old fishing boats. The air smelled of salt and drying nets. He stood tall, his shoulders broad under a simple shirt. Your father won't relent? The firefighter asked, his voice low. The daughter shook her head. He sees only the merchant's money, she said. He says your work is too dangerous, too uncertain. The firefighter reached into his pocket and pulled out a small wooden carving of a dove. He placed it in her hand. It's trapped, she said, looking at the carved wings. It waits to fly, he replied. A fisherman walking towards his boat stopped and stared at them. He spat on the ground near the firefighter's boots. The sound was loud in the quiet morning. The daughter and the firefighter separated quickly, melting back into the shadows of the boats. Later that morning, the mother gathered the villagers in the dusty square. The daughter stood beside her, her face pale. The merchant stood nearby, his robes expensive, a smirk on his face. My daughter will marry the merchant bin Khalid in 3 days, the mother announced, her voice carrying across the square. The daughter's hand went to her pocket, her fingers closing around the wooden dove. The merchant nodded, a satisfied look in his eyes. The firefighter watched from the edge of the crowd, his jaw clenched tight. An old woman, known for her strange pronouncements, stood near the back. Forced vows burn like dry grass, she muttered, just loud enough for the mother to hear. The mother's eyes narrowed, but she said nothing. The daughter walked through the bustling marketplace. Vendors called out their wares. The air was thick with the smell of spices and fish. Did you hear? Someone whispered as she passed. The firefighter is a fool. Firemen starve here. Another voice chimed in. The merchant's third wife died mysteriously, you know. Vanished, they say. A vendor held up a fish, its eyes cloudy, flies buzzing around it. Spoiled, like some promises, the daughter thought. The merchant stepped into her path, blocking her way. He smiled, a cold look in his eyes. He pressed a heavy gold bracelet into her hand. For you, he said. A small gift. Her fingers felt numb. She opened her hand, and the bracelet fell to the ground with a loud clang. The market fell silent. She did not pick it up. The firefighter stood at the mother's doorstep as dusk settled. He held his cap in his hands. I love your daughter, he said. I will build a life for her. A good life. With what? The mother asked, her voice sharp. Your bravery won't fill her belly. She needs security, not empty promises. I can provide for her, the firefighter insisted. I am strong. I am dedicated. The mother shook her head. My decision is made, she said. She turned and slammed the door shut. Inside, the force of the slam made the chip tile sitting on a small table fall again. It hit the floor, the crack across the eye widening. The daughter sought out the old woman's hut. It was dimly lit, smelling of dried herbs and smoke. My father, he won't listen, the daughter said, her voice trembling. The old woman stirred a pot over a small fire. Your father fears the past, she said. He fears what he cannot control. Fire reveals what we hide. She reached into a pouch and pulled out a small vial filled with yellow powder. Saffron, the daughter recognized. Take Take this, the old woman said, pressing it into her hand. For courage, when smoke blinds you. Distant thunder rumbled outside. The old woman's parrot, perched in a cage, suddenly shrieked, "Run!" It squawked, flapping its wings wildly. The mother knelt by the small table, carefully applying glue to the cracked ceramic tile. She pressed the pieces together, but the lines remained jagged and clear. The blue eye was now disjointed, looking in two different directions. The daughter entered the room quietly. She saw the tile, the glue on her mother's fingers. Without a word, she took the wooden dove from her pocket and placed it gently beside the tile. The mother looked up, her eyes hard. "You defy me?" she asked. The daughter did not answer. She simply turned and walked out. The first heavy raindrops began to hit the roof. A child, no older than 5, chased a rolling ball too close to the harbor edge. He tumbled in with a splash. Villagers on the docks cried out in panic. The water was cold and choppy. The firefighter, walking nearby, didn't hesitate. He kicked off his boots and dove into the dark water. He swam hard, reaching the struggling child. He grabbed the boy, pulling him towards the dock. Hands reached down, pulling them both out. "God bless you," the child's mother cried, clutching her son. An old fisherman, the one who had spat at him earlier, muttered under his breath. "Even a dog can swim," he said, loud enough to be heard. The firefighter stood dripping, his simple shirt clinging to his chest. Scars, faded but visible, crisscrossed his arms and back. The child, shivering but safe, looked up at him. He reached into his wet pocket and pulled out a small, smooth seashell. He pressed it into the firefighter's hand. "For the lady who cries at the docks," the boy said. The mother visited the merchant's large house. It smelled of wealth and something else, something heavy. The merchant offered her tea in delicate cups. "I understand you have debts," the merchant said, sliding a pouch of coins across the low table. "A small loan to settle things for the family." The mother took the pouch. "Thank you," she said. "See that she forgets that fireman," the merchant said, his eyes fixed on her. The mother nodded. Later at the tea house, the mother sat with other women. The conversation turned to the upcoming wedding. "That fireman," the mother said, her voice casual, "I heard he steals from the mosque fund. Small amounts, but still." The other women exchanged glances. Whispers started. The merchant's daughter, sitting nearby, watched the merchant from across the room, her gaze lingering on a large ring on his finger. The daughter slipped out of her house after midnight. The village was dark and silent. She walked quickly towards the abandoned lighthouse at the edge of town. The firefighter was waiting. "Run away with me tonight," he said, taking her hands. "We can go to the next town, start fresh." "And leave Aisha? The village?" she asked. "This is my home." The lighthouse beam swept across the dark sea, a brief flash of light cutting through the fog rolling in. They walked around the base of the lighthouse. On the stone wall, someone had scrawled words in black paint. "Omar's wives, don't weep." They vanished. Dark clouds swallowed the moon entirely. Fishermen rushed to secure their boats, tying them down against the rising wind. The air grew cold and damp. Aisha stood outside her hut, looking at the sky. "When fire comes, hold the saffron to your heart," she told the daughter, who had come to check on her. In the shadows near the old marketplace, the merchant's men moved quickly. They carried large cans. They poured liquid onto piles of dry rags and brush behind the stalls. Gasoline. The smell, sharp and unnatural. A stray cat darted out from an alley, knocking over a small lantern one of the men had set down. The glass shattered. The flame flickered near the wet ground. The firefighter, walking his rounds, saw the movement. He rushed over and stamped out the flame with his boot, a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. The merchant cornered the daughter near the well. He grabbed her wrist, his grip tight. "You shame me," he hissed, meeting that fireman. She pulled her arm back, trying to break free. "I'll bury that fireman if you shame me," he threatened. She kneed him hard in the leg. He cried out and backhanded her across the face. Her lips split, blood welled. Something fell from her pocket. The seashell the child had given the firefighter. It hit the stone edge of the well and cracked into 2 pieces. The old woman found the mother by the market, watching the sky. She thrust a handful of dried herbs into the mother's hand. "Your pride blinds you," the old woman said. "Fire cleanses lies. Take these." The mother scoffed. "Superstition," she muttered, but she pocketed the herbs. Inside the old woman's hut, a moth circled the flame of an oil lamp. It flew too close, its wings catching fire. It dropped a tiny ember and was consumed by the flame. The merchant stood behind the marketplace stalls, lighting a cigarette. He took a long drag, then flicked the still burning butt onto the gasoline-soaked rags. Flames erupted instantly, leaping high into the air. The strong wind caught them, whipping them towards the village. The dry wood of the market stalls ignited like kindling. "Fire!" someone screamed. "The fire station!" station. Get the firemen. Another shouted. The fire station's locked. A villager cried. The firefighter's keys are gone. The mother watched from her doorway as smoke billowed. Then she saw him, the firefighter, running towards the flames, towards the market, towards her house. He wore no gear, just his simple clothes. Pure desperation on his face. A child tumbled into the harbor water with a splash. Villagers cried out. Kareem kicked off his boots and dove in. He grabbed the boy, pulling him towards the dock. Hands reached down, pulling them out. God bless you, the child's mother cried. Even a dog can swim, an old fisherman muttered. The child gave Kareem a seashell for the lady who cries at the docks, the boy said. Hassan sat in Omar's large house. Omar slid a pouch of coins across the table. A loan to settle debts, Omar said. Hassan took the pouch. Thank you. See that she forgets that fireman, Omar said. Hassan nodded. Later at the tea house, Hassan spoke to other women. That fireman, he said, I heard he steals from the mosque fund. Small amounts, but still. The daughter slipped out after midnight to the abandoned lighthouse. Kareem was waiting. Run away with me tonight, he said. And leave Aisha? The village? She asked. The lighthouse beam cut through the fog. They found words on the wall. Omar's wives don't weep, they vanish. Dark clouds swallowed the moon. Fishermen secured boats. When fire comes, hold the saffron to your heart, Aisha told the daughter. In the shadows, Omar's men poured gasoline near the market. A stray cat knocked over a lantern. Kareem stamped out the small flame. Uneasy, Omar cornered the daughter near the well. He grabbed her wrist. You shame me, he hissed. I'll bury that fireman if you shame me. She need him. He backhanded her. The seashell fell from her pocket and cracked. Aisha thrust herbs into Hassan's hand. Your pride blinds you, she said. Fire cleanses lies. Hassan scoffed but pocketed the herbs. A moth circled Aisha's lamp, flew too close and burned. Omar lit a cigarette and flit it onto the gasoline-soaked rags. Flames erupted, whipped by the wind towards the village. Fire! Someone screamed. The fire station's locked. A villager cried. The firefighter's keys are gone. Hassan watched from his doorway. The firefighter ran towards the flames. No gear, pure desperation. Flames engulfed the market. Villagers screamed, dragging belongings. A child's doll burned. The hydrants are dry. A fisherman yelled, let it burn. The insurance covers more than fish, Omar told his men. Charred ledger pages scattered. Aisha stood in the square, chanting. Smoke filled the daughter's house. She crawled, clutching the chipped tile. Baba, Baba, she coughed. The tile's eye reflection showed Kareem bursting through the alley. Kareem wrapped his scarf around a child's face, pushed them to safety, then charged into the daughter's collapsing house. He'll die for her, a villager shouted. Allah, not like her mother, Hassan muttered, arriving. Kareem's scarf, once mocked, was a lifeline. The floor collapsed. Kareem shielded the daughter, a beam hitting his back. Hassan tried to enter, but heat forced him back. Stay put, old man. Omar's men blocked him. My daughter, Hassan cried. Allah decides who burns, Omar said. Hassan's hands bled from gripping the scorched doorframe. Aisha's herbs in his pocket ignited, smoking. Timbers crashed. Kareem shoved the daughter into a closet as the ceiling buried him. Kareem, please, the daughter sobbed. Take the tile to your father. Kareem gasped. The chipped tile glowed in the embers. The cracked ceiling as Kareem's blood dripped on it. Distant sirens wailed. With everything on the line, what choice would you make? Answer in the comments. Kareem dug free, dragging the daughter through flames. Villagers doused them with seawater. Why? The daughter asked. Horse, you once gave me water when I was nobody, Kareem replied. Their hands intertwined. The seashell was fused to his palm, unbroken. Hassan collapsed beside Kareem, pressing Aisha's ashes to his wounds. Forgive me, Hassan said. Save prayers for those who still hate, Kareem gasped. The tile in the daughter's hand reflected Omar fleeing, carrying the orphanage donation box. Hassan stood before the crowd, the donation box at his feet. Villagers murmured. He knelt to Kareem. I traded my daughter's joy for pride, Hassan said. This man gave her life twice. And the fire? A fisherman asked. Hassan's shadow merged with Kareem's. A child placed the chipped tile in Hassan's palm. It was whole. Authorities sifted rubble. A firefighter lifted a melted gas can. Arson, he said. Omar's fingerprints, an officer said. He owed the syndicate. He wanted the insurance money. And me, the daughter said. The orphanage cat emerged with Omar's ledger in its teeth. Omar was dragged from a fishing boat, cash spilling. You'd all starve without my deals, he shouted. We starve because of them, Kareem said weakly. Omar's cufflinks were rusted. Grandma saw you pour the fuel. Aisha's granddaughter stepped forward. Hassan sorted his wife's trunk. He found her journal. Hassan fears love more than the sea, it read. Mama knew, the daughter said. I let tradition drown her voice. voice too, Hassan said. He burned the journal. A false bottom revealed his wife's letters to Kareem's late mother. They were childhood friends. Villagers passed bricks hand to hand, rebuilding. Kareem, bandaged, directed with a whistle. Why help those who hated you? A child asked. Fire doesn't choose who it burns, Kareem said. New mortar mixed with seawater. Fishermen donated their nets to reinforce the orphanage. The daughter pressed Kareem's hand to her belly at the rebuilt clinic. The smoke didn't harm the baby, the doctor said. She survived the fire, Kareem said. She'll survive me. Hassan arrived with a cradle carved from charred market wood. Hassan watched the daughter and Kareem walk the pier at dawn. The catch is better since the fire, a fisherman said. Some things grow back stronger, Hassan replied. The myth is cold ends. The tile embedded in the new marketplace wall reflected the family's faces. A seagull dropped a fresh oyster at Hassan's feet. A pearl was inside.